I always love a little comedy, don't you? Well, a new statement was issued by Steve Mnuchin and Mark Meadows today, and it talks about Temple of Doom, and it says, the president's always available to meet as well. With the Temple of Doom? This is a new one. I was at the casino this afternoon, and I saw Sir Loin, and I said, Sir Loin, do you think the president's ever going to meet with Nancy Pelosi? Who? The Temple of Doom. Oh, well, if he brings her some nice ice cream for $12. I mean, this is a crazy letter. Did you see this, Sir Loin? It claims that the president's available to meet at any time with the Temple of Doom. The one that says he's crazy? Yeah, the one that says he's crazy. I think that's a crazy letter. Well, it certainly qualified for a commission. A crazy letter about a crazy situation. Well, yeah, apparently. And, I'm not talking about who's crazy in the letter, but everything's very crazy now. Yeah, it is sort of crazy. But, I mean, who are you to judge? Or who are you to judge? You're talking to a cow in a cowcino. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This afternoon's LALATE with a lot of twists and turns and a lot of moving on out and moving on up. But as we sit here today, big developments, even since 28's recording this morning on your second stimulus check. I thought it was going to be a slow day. It is not. So go to the voted channel, subscribe. Let's get it going, folks. Let's get 1,000 followers. Let's get 2,000 extra followers today. I see a lot of you comment on a regular basis, but you aren't publicly subscribed. So the way I see if you're publicly subscribed, go into the pinned comment to ensure that you're a follower. Otherwise, I think that, maybe you're just here looking for the Temple of Doom. Also like this video. In this video, I'll have a lot of big developments for you because I'm going big, just as the president wants to go big. And these developments are an incredible press statement issued by Mark and Steve after 28 was recorded. It's a little funny because it talks about stuff that never happened as though it did. Fake narrative, shall we say. Larry Kudlow, Mr. Human Calculator, appeared on CNN. Not to talk about math, but to talk about your stimulus. And the comments were also quite interesting because it did get to a number of Republicans that support him or don't. Spoiler alert, it's more don't than do. And third, I will be getting to those Senate Republicans, a new report that came out this afternoon as to really how bad the situation is. Oh, and there's names. So, pull out a pen and paper. We're naming names this time. So let me get to the breaking news as we start the afternoon. The war of words are heating up as Nancy Pelosi issued a new statement. Well, the Temple of Doom, I should say, issued a new statement on Friday saying that the deal offer of $1.8 trillion from the White House has been rejected. It's no good. You're no good, and you're all crazy. Was basically what she said. Well, the White House fired back, and on White House letterhead, with also Treasury letterhead in the corner, very nice. Your tax dollars are going for that. It was a letter written by Steve Mnuchin and Mark Meadows, which is sort of funny because Nancy Pelosi may not know who the letter's from. Whatever his name is. If you don't recall, Mark Meadows was excluded by the Temple of Doom from the most recent negotiations because he didn't want to deal with him. It also talks about Mr. Broadway himself. I don't mean Tommy Tune. I mean Chuck Schumer, who also was not really included in the negotiations. The letter is the letter has basically 5 paragraphs, and guess what? There's not one paragraph of numbers in there. There's absolutely nothing in there. But it does say that we have added money for rental programs, childcare, broadband, and agricultural support. Oh, so there's internet service in your second stimulus package. That way you can check that you can go online and track your check, which is never coming under this proposal. Boy, it talks about. It's more like shady. It's more like a Real Housewives reunion transcript than a deal memo. But it does talk about one thing that's really positive. That says that there's unused PPP money. Javita Carranza, where are you? Get those scars out. Unused PPP money that needs to be delegated, and that's what could be sent out right away. Repurposing of money. Here we go. All right. So that's that. Larry Kudlow is the one that I really want to focus on because that's just a hot mess express unto itself. He appeared on CNN. Larry Kudlow appeared on CNN and they talked numbers. Insert punchline right here. I don't think the recovery is dependent on the stimulus, said Larry Kudlow. Okay, we're starting with that, Larry, again. We see numbers all across the board just in the past week. Booming house starts, supply management for manufacturing services. We see automobiles surging. We've created jobs, 700,000 in manufacturing. These are really strong numbers. Okay, Wilbur Ross, who notoriously once said, if you can't survive this pandemic financially, go sell your paintings. Yeah, I'm not kidding. He actually said that. The false narrative is starting to be pushed by the White House, what ultimately causes me to concern for you, which is that this might be why there is no executive order, because you have people like Larry Kudlow and Wilbur Ross today literally tweeting up a storm how there's hundreds of thousands of new jobs right now, and the economy's surging, and everyone's making fortunes. Now, they clearly don't believe it themselves. I understand that they're trying to do a narrative to get the president reelected, but when I see this type of narrative so overboard, I'm just worried that the false narrative may mean that these people just don't want to do executive orders. Now, during the CNN interview, he was pushed to really answer a few questions, Larry Kudlow. Spoiler alert, he didn't. He was asked about these Republicans in the Senate, and there was a report. Well, there's actually now two reports, which I detailed yesterday and I detailed this morning about the Senate Republicans who actually called the White House, spoke to Mark Meadows, spoke to Steve Mnuchin and said, stop it. Stop it. We're not doing 1.8, Mark. We're not doing 1.8. And we're not going above 1.8. In fact, we're not going above 1.5. What are you doing up there so high? Bring it down low, like, 24 cents. And apparently that conversation is so widely reported that you need to tune into the video right after this one, hazard pay, in which that video I'm going to go over exactly what those Republicans said, the numbers that they indicated, what the White House said back to them in the conversation. Oh, it's more scandalous than a Faye Resnick, Camille Grammer dinner date from hell. It's just Republicans were in the Senate, put in their own bill just a week ago, and we got 53 votes. So I think if they say we were united in agreement so we can get along. Well, Jake Tapper wasn't happy with that remark, and he said, that's not what I'm asking, Larry. I'm asking whether there's a bunch of Republicans who are simply blocking everything you're trying to do. Well, I'm not talking about your Democratic friends, said Jake Tapper to Kudlow. I'm talking about the 20 Republican senators who were mad at Steve Mnuchin, saying that the proposal of $1.8 trillion was too much and to stop it. I love this interview. It's exactly what I've been reporting, and someone has to answer the question. Well, Kudlow's response was the following. The president actually has said, and I mean, I've heard him say it in the Oval, as far as the key elements are concerned, the checks, the unemployment assistance, the small business assistance, we have got to help airlines out. We go further. That, of course, doesn't answer the question. It does say you're going to get stimulus checks from the president. It doesn't say whether the Senate would approve them. I think if we could get this thing settled on the Democratic side, we will get it settled on the Republican side. There will still be further efforts to negotiate, perhaps today, but certainly this coming week. What? The Democrats are holding this up. What? Okay, let's recap that madness. First, Nancy Pelosi, get your commission ready because you might want to replay this interview. He says that negotiations will continue next week. On what? What? Everything has been thrown out the window at this point. Second, he says that I think we could get Republicans to agree with us. Well, I think you should have checked on this already. We're in October, and we've been doing this since July. Do you think maybe you should have asked a few Republicans that are voting on this, if they ever opened the Senate, how they would feel about the situation? Well, that was that. Let me turn to actually where Jake Tapper is coming from, and this you certainly know the answer to this because I went over it earlier today and I went on the video before this. No one's opposed to giving you a $1,200 stimulus checks. No one's opposed to giving you a $2,400 stimulus check for a married couple. In fact, the Steve Mnuchin offer that was made 2 days ago, the $1.8 trillion, raised the dependent stimulus check. Thank God. But it didn't raise it to $1,200. It raised to $1,000. I don't know what $1,000 is, but it's better than $500. So it would give it a stimulus check for dependents if you're on SSDI, SSI, Social Security, or railroad benefits under Steve Mnuchin's plan of $1,000. Great news. It would also give child dependents a $1,000 check if on under Steve Mnuchin's plan. Great news. What's not great news is that it does not mirror the Problem Solvers bill, which would have given you 2 stimulus checks. But remember, the Problem Solvers bill actually gave $500 as the dependents check. So we're getting progress here on stimulus checks. The problem is, what were the other deal points? And that's why you got to tune into the video right after this one, because I'm going to go over what Steve Mnuchin's deal memos were. I finally obtained them in exclusive reported by NBC News this afternoon. Now, those Republicans in the Senate, are you ready for this? Okay. At least 2 Senate Republicans warned Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and Steve Mnuchin that spending as much as $2 trillion on a big bill will backfire against the party and not to do it. Quote, "There's no appetite right now to spend the White House number or the House number," said Senator Lamar Alexander, Republican out of Tennessee. I think he needs a message from you. Purple power. Keep it professional. Apparently, Lamar Alexander said, "I'm rejecting the Republicans' offer and the Democrats' offer. In fact, I'm rejecting everyone's offer." Senator John Barrasso, that's Barrasso, Republican out of Wyoming, also spoke about the situation. He said, "I see this as an enormous betrayal of our supporters of the Republican Party," said another person familiar to the call. Again, these are not direct quotes from these. These are people who are on a telephone call between Mnuchin, Meadows, and top Republicans, and they heard the lambasting that was going on. There's another one. Marsha Blackburn, Republican out of Tennessee. I guess Tennessee's having a real problem with giving you stimulus. This is 2 Tennessee people in a row. The deal kneels for our majority if Pelosi gets this win. She and also Republican Mike Lee of Utah said the Republicans would lose support in the election if they accepted this. Okay, so this is an interesting paradox. Repeat, Lamar Alexander, John Barrasso, Marsha Blackburn, and Mike Lee should absolutely be on your Christmas gift list of tweeting today. They said, apparently, to the White House, you're going to have the senators in the that are Republicans in the Congress lose seats if you do this deal with Nancy. Ironically, the polls say they're losing the seats right now because they've not given stimulus, but I'm going upon what their narrative is. And this is quite interesting. Ultimately, who do you believe? The point is, as we sit here today, that the focus is really on executive orders. I don't understand why Steve Mnuchin and Mark Meadows wrote that letter beyond the scope of it's a false narrative and they want to get it out for campaign purposes. I get that. Anyone would do that. You would say, hey, the economy's doing great. I've done a wonderful job. You don't need stimulus. You're all fine. I'll see you in the Bentley tomorrow morning. I mean, that's basically what the pitch is. Now, it doesn't work for anyone who has a brain cell that's reading it, but hopefully you don't read it. It's perhaps what they're hoping on. The bottom line is that to talk about negotiating more for stimulus next week for legislative path is just a little wacky. I mean, it's like Nancy Pelosi commission crazy wacky. It's like, why aren't we doing executive orders? What are you doing now? Let's recap. Senate's closed. Can't do a law. It's closed October 19th, and no one's trying to get it reopened. We've tried to get it reopened. They're not trying to get it reopened. So guess what? It's closed. Second, if you passed a law on October 20th, no one's going to get the stimulus before they go to vote. It won't be enough time. So is people going to vote for you because of something they heard is coming in a month or 2 months from now? No. Third, the talk of negotiating further is sort of a hilarious remark unto itself, because the Temple of Doom has never negotiated on her $2.2 trillion offer. In fact, that's what the Republican senators told the White House. Why are you negotiating with someone, the Temple of Doom, who's not negotiating? Why you keep on changing your number when the Temple of Doom's not changing their number? It's things like this that makes you think, okay, maybe you should have the commission look at Larry Kudlow. The Crazy Commission. What's the Crazy Commission called? The Nut House? The Nut House Commission? With the Speaker of the House? And I don't know what that commission's called. I think it needs a crazy name unto itself. The Planters Peanuts Commission. No, I can't say that. Nutty. So as we sit here today, what's important to understand is the push for executive orders is absolutely apparent. You need to get this president on board and understand, hey, we need executive orders and we need them right now. What is very important is tomorrow. I detail that on 28. What's important is tomorrow. Tomorrow, the stock market's going to take a plummet. It's going to take a plummet because there is no stimulus relief. There is no hope to get stimulus relief by legislative path, and that the executive order path has simply gone silent. It's not gone silent for you and us, you and me, but for the purpose of the White House, they have still not spoken up. What they keep on doing is identifying the money, saying they want to send out the money, saying the money's there, and not doing it. And ultimately, stock market's not going to like it. So expect the stock market to crash tomorrow and potentially crash the day after. And the point is that I understand you may not own stocks, but that may be the reality that'll hit the president in the head and say, okay, I guess I shouldn't be doing the Temple of Doom cakewalk. I should be getting a pen. Does anyone have a pen? Let me write something up. Let me get to some of your 1,900 comments from yesterday. John Waddle. Everyone agrees every country needs second stimulus to save the economy. President Trump, help us. Eddie Lynn, so sad to the American people. What a joke this has been. Donald Littles. These are all political agendas. She's not thinking about the American people, and she should be fired. Danny Johnson. Nancy needs to be sent passages and lose her seat. Bobby Bayo. Nancy doesn't care about us. Jennifer Cates. She's nothing but hate. She's trying to compromise Trump's election. Susan. Nancy cares nothing about American people. She has an agenda with her Democratic prez. I'm going to go over that in Pelosi versus Mnuchin. Stay tuned for that recording coming up in about an hour from now. Pelosi versus Mnuchin. I'm going to go over why Pelosi's plan to not do stimulus relief until Biden wins may ultimately create an incredible impediment for Biden to ever get this economy back to normal. Because imagine waiting with no stimulus to February or March into people's hands and saying we're going to try to fix the economy after you've done nothing with it since May, the year before. Stay tuned for Pelosi versus Mnuchin for that. Char, we will see this. More will become homeless. Anthony, the people in America deserve more money. Lori, I pray he does the executive order. Why hasn't he? He needs to. Larry Davis, can you imagine the enemies Nancy's accumulating? Peter, she's an obstinate, unconcerned, disconnected individual who seriously has no idea how much suffering we've dealt with. Kathy, if he really does care for us like he does, he'll sign what he says he can. Linda Blackburn, oh no, sweet Temple of Doom, and the president has a mind of his own, and I don't think Larry Kudlow can persuade him either. I don't trust the polls. President Trump has a lot of quiet supporters who will vote for him, and God help us if Biden becomes president. Well, ultimately, as you know, my focus on this channel is not predicting polls. My purpose is not predicting, giving you political insight. My job is to get you money. And my job is to inform you how you would get money if Biden wins, how you would get money if Trump wins, how you would get money if the Senate goes Republican, stays Republican, how you get money if the Senate goes Democrat. That's important for you to understand because we can't just wait and have the thing hit us in the face. It's like, oh, this happened? Okay, now how are we going to get money? No, we're going to plan ahead of time so we strategize, we understand, and we know where we're going forward. I understand there's a lot of twists and turns, and that's why I'm here to educate you. And that's why it takes 4 broadcasts, afternoons, LALATE every day. Coming up next is Hazard Pay. But it's really a special broadcast today. It's not only a continuation of Jack, but I will have the incredible deal points about what Mnuchin offered and what Temple of Doom's reaction was to those numbers. I'm going to go line item, yes. Then after that, I will be bringing back the hit special, which apparently everyone really loves, in the unemployment space time slot, which I will cover unemployment. McConnell versus Trump. Is Mitch trying to derail the entire process unto himself? And finally, Pelosi versus Mnuchin. Go to the Furnace channel, subscribe. Come on, let's get it going. Let's get it going. I understand it is confusing, and I understand there's a lot of paths to get to, but let's do it as a family. So make sure you subscribe. Go to the Funds channel, hit the subscribe button, and hit the alert. That way you know when a video goes live. Also, like this video. Coming up next is hazard pay and that big development on your second stimulus check. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay at LA for more.